That is a gladiola finally popping out. I planted these bulbs weeks ago and they are just now popping out. So that's a good thing. And there are 1, 2, 3 in this bed. And then there's another one popping out over here. Where'd you go? Yep, right there. Alright, gladiolas coming along. Wow. Finally popping. Oh, and these purple and white irises are still going. Looks like just most of them, the top ones have petered out, but the bottom ones are blooming. And this one is still going good. Gotta love that. And that's my little gladiola garden bed. And behind the tree there's another row behind the tree of them. I planted about 50 of the gladiola bulbs out here, and hopefully they'll grow. I mean, everything else certainly is growing. Look at all these weeds. I don't know if I could mow this with a lawnmower or not. I'm not. There's a lot of rocks, so probably not much I'll do with this little corner of the property this year other than the gladiolas. And I might try to do some other bulbs in here, since it seems to have enough moisture. And a quick update on the brush pile. Apparently it was still too wet. It was not dry enough to burn. Yeah, that figures. And I should have known that also. It takes more than a couple weeks for stuff to dry out. Well, I mean, the little end with the leaves, the small little twig things, those burnt, you know, lickety-split, but the thicker stuff is too dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull all of that stuff further down here by Fifi. And because the ground under there is charred, so I'm going to pull that all down here now that it's shady. So probably a little later this afternoon I'll do that when that's all in the shade. And then I will try to finish flame weeding that the patch in there that I cleared out with the weed eater the other day. And here we have the sunflowers. Look at how tall they are getting. They are just all looking pretty healthy. And well, this morning, about mid-morning, I mean, it's hot today. And a few of their leaves were a little droopy, like the one in the front here on the right. So I just gave them a little bit of water and they're doing cool. Oh, I'm so happy that these just didn't die off. And I have not, I gotta stand up. These did not get any extra garden soil when I transplanted them. They were started in toilet paper rolls, and then I just put the toilet paper rolls right into the cardboard that's in there. There's a layer of leaves and hay, and then cardboard, and then hay on top. And I just put them, you know, basically sat them on top of the ground inside of the cardboard, and they are doing great. I have not fertilized them at all, although I did get a suggestion in comments when a few of the top leaves had started a little bit of yellowing. So, and I know about Epsom salts, but a comment suggested Epsom salts, and there were a couple bags left here when I took over this property. And so I grabbed one of the small bags, and I used a spoon and just gave, you know, every plant a little spoonful, and that took about half the bag. I don't know how big the bag was. It was a real small bag that you probably get for like $1 at the Dollar General store. But that's all they have gotten is water and a little bit of Epsom salt, and that was over a week ago. So I am very happy with the sunflowers, and I can't wait to put more in the ground. The cosmos are doing very well also. They're getting taller. They're starting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th set of real leaves, and just, oh, I am so happy that this is working so far. And there's a butterfly. That's a new one. I gotta catch it. And I have an update on the keyhole garden. Let's take a look. I got 25 bachelor's buttons transplanted. And unfortunately, they were in my little greenhouse. I had, 3/4 of a tray, so there were probably 50 or 60 bachelor's buttons. But I knocked the tray over. I was reaching to the tray behind it, and I hit it with my elbow, and I knocked it over, and they all landed on the ground. So I figured, all right, I better transplant them now. And so I did that, and I only saved about 25 of them. And I double planted a few. If one looked, less healthy and one better healthy, I figured, better chances. So I put 25 of them in here, and they have not all survived, but it looks like I got a good majority of them. And I did put them in here with the garden soil. So the ones that didn't make it, it'll just be easier to replace that spot with something else. And I did have more bachelor buttons started, but let's go look at those now. This is a tray of bachelor's buttons that I seeded and had it in the grow tent. And I made the mistake of how long, well, I went one day and I forgot to check it before I went to bed, and then the next morning I checked the tent. So it was only like 16 hours, and in 16 hours they had sprouted and shot up, and I didn't have them directly under the light. I had them off to the side. And so those things just grew so fast and got so leggy, looking for the light because there wasn't any light nearby. So they just got heavy and fell over, and yeah, I don't think many of those are going to survive, unfortunately. So that's, 2 failures. I knocked a tray over of bachelor's buttons, and then I neglected this tray of bachelor's buttons. So this is not going to be a good bachelor button year for me. I do have some more seeds. I'll probably give these a couple days to see if there might be a dozen or so in there that'll pull through it. I just brought them outside today. I'm going to put them they've been in the shade all day. And hopefully the wind will help and a little bit more light. I don't know. But I'll probably end up just replanting almost that entire tray. Speaking of replanting a tray, this tray I seeded with what were called Circus Act zinnias. And I just got those. I thought they were cool looking. I just ordered them online, but 72 seeds in there and not a single one has sprouted. And it's been over a week. So I'm giving up on those, and I just well, it's dried out today. I didn't bother watering it again because I'm just going to go back in with another variety of zinnia that I have and seed it with those zinnias, and then put some more of that seed starting cocoa core on top, and get it all wet and get those going. So hopefully I will get another variety of zinnias to replace those. And then seeds in the greenhouse are going good. I need to start transplanting these. Oh, and look, there's a butterfly in there. This tray here, the front, are 4 o'clocks, and those are ready to go. I need to get them in. There's only a dozen of those. And we'll see how the 4 o'clocks do. And then those are Dahlias from Tiny Hilltop. Farming for Change. Check out his channel. And there's a butterfly in there. Are you a live butterfly? You're a pretty butterfly. I'll have to look you up later. Aw, That butterfly in the greenhouse was dead. Aw, such a pretty little thing. Maybe it got trapped in there overnight when I zipped it up or something. I don't know. I'll have to look up what kind it is. I mean, usually you assume a monarch when they're that colors, but there are all kinds of varieties. Sorry, little butterfly. Well, good afternoon, number one. You and number one, or you and number three didn't show up till later this morning. I was getting worried. Oh yeah, I've got a story to tell about number two. I gotta go out here for that though. Okay, so here's my story from last night. It was about a little after 9 o'clock, and I heard a chicken squawking and squawking and squawking, and it sounded like it was right outside my window. So I came outside, and number two was right in front of my truck over there. And it was well after dark, and she was just squawking and squawking and squawking, and I couldn't... Oh, well, what's up with that? I think they're going in and out of being broody, and I don't know, maybe they wake up in the middle of the night, or who knows, something spooked her. I have no idea. But, so she was just acting crazy, and I followed her. She was walking down the driveway, and then she just took off flying, and she tried to make it up into there, but she didn't make it, and she came down and she landed right here on these corner posts, and the fence was on, and so I think she had one leg on the netting and one on the post, and it shocked her. So then she was just standing there with one leg on the corner. Oh, unbelievable. So I just walked over and picked her up, and I uncharged the fence first, and I picked her up, and then I just walked her back there to the chicken fort, and I put her on top of the chicken fort. I'm like, well, hey, if she's gonna roost somewhere, at least it'll be inside the electric fencing. And so I figured that would be a good place for her. So yeah, I just stuck her up there. This morning when I came out, she was gone. So, and she's running around. So I don't know when, or I don't know. But that was the craziest thing. After dark, a chicken just going nuts, and then trying to roost up here and landing on that. And then she just let me pick her up, and I put her back there. Crazy story. What are you gonna do? Good afternoon, Carol Burnett. Did you hear me talking and decided you'd come beg me for some snacks? I didn't bring any. Betty White, are you hiding behind the pallet? They love this chicken fort. They hang out here almost all day when they're not out scratching and pecking. Whereas before, they were always inside the coop most of the day when they weren't out being active. But here they've got a little bit of a windbreak, they've got some shade, they've got nice places for dust baths, and they just really enjoy this second habitat for them. They spend a lot of time on the rocks over there under that dead bush, and yep, everybody seems happy, right, Private Benjamin? Are you happy? Mary Tyler Moore? I got 4 blue eggs today. Yes, I did, but no white one, Punky. You're still only giving me like 2 eggs a week, Punky. I don't know what your deal is. Doesn't look like you're molting. Could have just be starting. I don't know. And while we're out here, let's take a look at some of the mullein. There's 4 or 5 of these here in the chicken run, and just keeps getting bigger, and it looks very healthy. And the chickens seem to be leaving it alone. I noticed some ripped leaves here and there, but they are looking good. Uh-oh. Is that what I think it is? Leaves of 3, let it be. I'm sure I've got poison ivy and poison oak all over the place. There you are, number 2. What was that about last night? Little after 9 o'clock. You were just squawking and running around and acting crazy, and you let me pick you up, and you landed on the electric fence. And where'd you go this morning? Okay, no explanation needed. You do what you do, number 2. And the gang's all here. This is the first time today I've seen all 3 of you at the same time. Yeah, the rules change for summer, don't they? Yeah? Alright. Go about your day, ladies.